Welcome to our channel. Today we will introduce you to giant machines that you won't believe exist. Let's get started. First, let's take a look at a giant transport vehicle. It specializes in transporting supersized vehicles at the mine, such as heavy-duty dump trucks, bulldozers, excavators, etc. The actual length of it can reach over 30 meters. On the side of the vehicle, there is a mechanism for a lifting ladder that can be raised and lowered so that we can get on the back of the vehicle, or it carries construction vehicles. The chassis of the vehicle can be raised and lowered to make it easy for smaller vehicles to climb on. They operate entirely hydraulically with giant and complex cylinder mechanisms. Next is the process of assembling a supergiant crane. To assemble this giant crane, the parts need to be transported from the manufacturing plant to the assembly point. These parts are not small at all. The shipping process can take up to a few days. The assembly process takes place in order from bottom to top. First is the base and moving mechanism. Next are the above components such as the cab, the load balancing system, and finally the crane frame and control system. This machine also has an additional front hook mechanism opposite the load balancing unit. This is truly a supergiant crane that you may have never heard of before. Next, this font is not just a machine, but a gigantic structure. That is the wind turbine. Maybe you already know what a wind turbine is, but this is different. The head of the machine alone weighs 67 tons, a huge size compared to conventional turbines. The turbine's rotor diameter is 87 meters. This wind turbine structure is divided into many parts and assembled perfectly together with very large and sturdy bolts. All wind turbine parts are assembled using a giant crane. Let's watch the iron or smelting process in an iron factory. After being mined, iron ore will be transported to the furnace. The excess calcined ore from the previous line will be dumped back into the waste or dump. This part of ore is impurities in the ore, which will affect the quality of iron produced. Therefore, it must be eliminated. This vehicle has a special design with the back part being a rack to place the ore smelting pot on top. In addition, it also has a retracting mechanism to tilt the crucible when disposing of iron ore. That's the entire list of giant machines we want to share with you today. We hope you find it interesting and learn a lot of new things. See you again in the next video. The next machine is a railway laying machine. It is a crane combined with a chain hook mechanism that can easily move a section of railway. It can lift not only rail tracks but also concrete pillars supporting the rails. It can completely move forward and backward along the track in a very flexible way. This machine can move on railways and the maximum crane length can be up to 30.4 meters, the maximum height of the boom is 19.5 meters. It can operate on rail surfaces inclined up to 7.5 degrees. The four corners of the machine have four hydraulic legs with four giant hydraulic cylinders that are very sturdy, capable of keeping the machine standing firmly and stably. Despite its huge size, it does not affect the neighboring tracks at all. The machine you are seeing now is like an enlarged version of the previous machine. It is bigger, longer, and stronger, with additional modifications in its movement capabilities. The moving mechanism of this machine is changed from train wheel to a chain-driven motion mechanism. In addition to moving along the rail, it can be rotated horizontally to move in other directions and outside the rail. The four-legged structure is no different from the previous machine but with a much larger size. These changes can be considered very useful improvements. Coming to the next machine, this machine is simply a crane that can move on rails. With a smaller size than other machines, it can operate in narrow tunnels flexibly. Not only that, it can also change the bucket into a pickup mechanism. The next machines also serve in rail installation operations, but they have a different function. Step 1 is to spread stones around the tracks. Step 2 is to spread the stones evenly so that the stones are properly distributed both inside and outside the rails. Step 3 is stone ramming. Stones after being evenly spread will be rammed by cylindrical tubes to make the stone foundation denser and more solid. The final step is to clean the railway track with a dust sweeper machine. The sweeper will push away dust, dirt, and rocks stuck on the side and above the railway track. The next machine can be called a pile driving machine. The machine will drive metal stakes into the mountainside surface. The ridge will then be covered with a layer of mesh on top. This mesh layer will be linked to the pile. This entire complex has the effect of increasing the stability of the hillside, preventing landslides. The next machine also has the effect of reinforcing the mountainside. However, the size of the pile is much larger and in particular, no mesh is used. We are standing on the surface of a salt flat. The salt will be scooped up by a giant excavator, then transferred to a super large salt storage machine. The harvested salt will still be mixed with seawater and sand. This is not cause for concern. Salt will be transported to the warehouse and sanded out. Next, let's move on to a specialized snow blower. It is designed to clear snow on runway strips and airport runways. The length of the vehicle is 10 meters with a snow brush length of 5.6 meters. The cylindrical snow brush has a diameter of 1,168 millimeters. The air blowing flow rate is 11.5 cubic meters per second. It is powerful enough to blow away average layers of snow. Those are just the parameters of the rear trailer part. To operate, it needs a front trailer. This structure is quite similar to a container truck. The vehicle can run at a speed of 60 km per hour with a brush rotation of 850 RPM and a horizontal working area of 4.6 m. In addition, the front of the vehicle is equipped with an ironing mechanism to easily remove thick layers of snow that the machine cannot blow or sweep away. All combinations are formed perfectly to be able to clean snow at a large airport. The vehicle is equipped with rear-wheel steering, helping to reduce the turning radius to 10.3 m. You can see it operates very efficiently. All control mechanisms are placed right next to the driver, and all control parameters are displayed in full on a touchscreen display. The vehicle's blowing and sweeping directions can be changed to facilitate work. This process is done quite quickly and simply. Next, in front of you is a giant transport vehicle. It is created with many interesting mechanisms that not every vehicle has. It is a two-tier transport vehicle with a capacity of 3 cars on top. It has a very sturdy structure and can lift the chassis. It also has a hook mechanism that can pull another vehicle. It can completely lift the front axle of the pulled vehicle to avoid damaging the front axle during the towing process. Next, this is also a specialized vehicle. It is a container loading and unloading vehicle with a unique structure. It can completely load a container with a frame structure containing gripping and lifting mechanisms. This vehicle can easily load and unload containers without the need for bulky container loading and unloading mechanisms at ports.